Okay, y'all. It's me. I'm blogging a lot on people and things and situations, and um, I want to blog about this situation with this little boy and a family that allowed their little boy to dress up as a little girl. I'm trying. So basically, little kid saw something pink or something like that, and here's something pink, and and decided that it was pretty colors, and wanted to wear. Decided the kid said he just likes red and green, and then he liked the dresses, or might have asked to go to a Halloween party wearing this. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. It says it. It's like we automatically come with foolishness. And so, foolishness is in the Bible. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. Okay? And also it says, parents, train your child in the way they should go. Not the way they want to go, or the way they think they should go. The way they should go. The way they should go. Okay? Now, a child should not a boy should not be wearing dresses and little girl things. That's not what boys are for. That's what when men get older and crazy and all that stuff. That did so much garbage they can't figure out anything else to do. Okay, so the thing about it though is I want to make some biblical reference. And then this other homo, so she writes a book, makes money, and is getting it published all across, because a homosexual author, you can tell this guy is about as gay as the day is long. All right, as homo, all right, and so he thinks that this is a good thing. Okay, now the only thing that beyond all of this, that anybody, that's no judgment on the kids don't know nothing, right? When I was a kid, I wanted to do a lot of things that were not inappropriate, jumping off buildings, things like that. It was like, why can't I, playing with fire, why can't I play with fire? Why can't I burn people up? You know, you know, you know, killing things. I just enjoyed that when I was a little kid. I didn't enjoy killing things. I'm just saying that you do a lot of children. So the parents has listened to this child. And not only that, a 12-year-old child. I remember one day just before my trip to the insane asylum, I asked one of my little brothers, well, how should I cut my mustache? And he says, just cut it like this. Just before I was headed to the insane asylum, I asked them. And so whenever you see these people with these weird haircuts and stuff, it's usually because they asked the child. So I asked a 12-year-old, this grown woman. I bet you she wouldn't even have taken the advice of her husband. I don't mean to go there. But anyway, that's my point. Is where is the husband? Where was the man? So they showed him, right? And somebody brought it to my attention. And they asked me, he said, well, this is okay. This down low looking brother. Somebody else said that. I didn't say that. So this down low looking brother, and the person also mentioned, the mother is trying to, make their husband feel good about being down low by dressing the little boy up in dresses. Just totally out of whack, right? But I wasn't gonna blog on this until I saw, that. So let me finish that thought. So the husband, now in the Garden of Adam and Eve, is like, okay, You know, the woman is talking to a snake. Eve is talking to a snake. Where's the husband? Now, from everybody knows, he wasn't far off. He didn't say nothing. He wasn't being the minion and the man that he was supposed to be. He didn't actually have the, you know, God had given him the woman and the earth and everything over it and make sure that everything stays straight. And so he wasn't on his job, right? The woman was going around doing stuff without his permission and God's permission, you know? And so he allowed it. So he wasn't being his man. He didn't say nothing. So, I mean, it's not the fact that he, it's like doing nothing is making a decision was the downfall, you know. So, so somebody said, well, you probably had a reason for doing something. You probably on the down low. But my point about it, how I look at it, he just ain't being a man of the family if this woman is going around and dressing his son like a little girl and then making a book and a TV show. And it's probably because she wanted the money anyway. It's probably because she looked like one of them money girls, you know, one of them chicks that, you know, them what they call them? High maintenance woman. So you probably just appeasing her. Go on, honey. Go ahead. Make money off this one. You know, somebody brought this insight to me. But you know, I mean, it does look like, you know, she's one of those women that just run all over her man and don't really understand a man and respect the man's masculinity and be it the case, you know, she might have wanted a daughter or something like that. You know, who knows, you know. But the whole thing about it, you know, is that she put her son out to be nationally exploited by Kevin Corbett, who writes Boyhood's Rethinking Masculinity, author. Or maybe that's not him. Maybe he wrote another book. But, you know, homosexuals can't wait to use children. And I think one of their agenda is the lower they can get, you know, the sexuality so that they can have their way with little boys, the better. Maybe true, maybe not. I don't know. Not really my thing. But, you know, what I'm saying is that, you know, they don't have a cutoff point at, you know, how young is too young to promote sexuality, you know. Now, everybody's varies between state and state and all those situations. But when they get to being 3-4 years old, babies, you know, when their sexuality is not really developed, that should at least be somewhat of an indicator. So the reason why I'm saying this is, and I wouldn't have lied about it until somebody else sent me another video that showed this thing where it says F-U-C-K, I have to say it, effing, you know, the 4-letter word, and they're using these little girls to promote, you know, now, to promote, you know, and see, this is the thing about this whole thing. You know, at least if you had used a little girl to promote the correct heterosexuality, at least they would be in the right lane, you know. This is just totally out of lane, out of whack, out of pocket, you know, just using a little boy to promote this feminism. And again, you know, when you have very strong females and a strong attitude, belligerent or whatever, stubborn or whatever, prideful, stubborn, pride, same thing, you know. And some men can't stand up to them, especially if they're beautiful. They can control the family, you know, and control all the men and become very dominant of the men in the family. But my point is, why I blogged about it until I saw this commercial where they have these cross-dressing men and this FUCKN, FCKN8 propaganda, and they're using this thing against bullies. You know, why shouldn't, they said in the video, why shouldn't homosexuals kill themselves because they can't get married? Of course they're going to kill themselves. They can't get married. Do y'all hear the stuff that people say to y'all? I mean, really, does it just didn't catch that one? You know, people should kill themselves, or people are killing themselves because they can't get married, because they can't get documents. What country and land is that from? I don't know. But they're using this little girl, and I'm gonna tell you, you know, like I say, there's a cutoff point. I see some young girls that will just be like, dang, you know, make an old man wish for younger days, you know, as they did the Commodore song in the 1970s, you know. She's a brick house. There's some young girls, especially with all these hormones and everything else that we have in the food, that are really, you know, their bodies, as Prince would say, 18-year-old bodies, Super Bowls, you know. You know, so it's a lot of young girls that are like that, right? But when you take a little 4-year-old and a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old and promote this kind of sexuality, and even they did a Murray Price show where they had these little girls dressed up like hoochies and cursing because their mama and their parents were not in control. And these little girls were cursing. They didn't know how to take a switch or something like that and say it again. Say it once, just say it again. And then straighten out that situation. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. There is one way to separate it. Out of a child. You know, and that's with a switch, you know, or whatever about, you know. Now at the same time, we had this uncle who loved his nephew enough to whoop his butt on Facebook. You know, let me say one last thing. It hurts my feelings as a grown man to see a little innocent girl cursing for the sake of this homosexual agenda. Cursing, saying F words. You know, that child is never going to be the same. I'm not even going to talk about the little boy and what he's going to have to deal with. You know, when his wires get straight, you know. But, you know, they had this uncle who cared enough about his nephew and his whole family to straighten out this nephew, because his nephew was sitting up there cursing. And a grown 16-year-old, this kid is almost a man, almost ready to get out the house and live on his own. So this boy is not in his own house, starting this ruckus, you know, living under his parents' house, or his uncle's house, must have been, talking about he gangster, living up in his uncle's house. That's not probably, or whatever the situation, may have used his uncle's computer, or wasn't in his own house starting this kind of crap. You know, because the daddy wasn't there, so he obviously had to not be in his own house starting this crap. Okay, so he brought this crap to his uncle's house, and his uncle didn't play this crap. Wherever his daddy wasn't there. His uncle was there. Okay, and so there's the thing about it takes one to raise it takes a whole village to raise one child. So his uncle shouldered the responsibility of his daddy and did what he knew he had to do to help this little boy, lead him in the direction that you go. Beyond that, because this kid was talking crap about, they could have had their whole house shot up. You know, they can find you on Facebook. I could go on anybody's Facebook account. I won't. I just saw somebody post some information. I wouldn't even look at it. You know, somebody else mentioned they used to crack and crack it. Anybody can find you. Like, if you on the internet, anything you say and do will be used against you. Prime example, me. They use all my stuff on the music videos. Anyway, my whole life is on it, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to stop this at 15 minutes. But this uncle, you know, he knew it's only one thing. He told this boy, I'm going to whip your butt, and whipped his butt with a belt, his butt. Somebody joked, they said he couldn't keep his own pants on. You know, but he whipped this kid on his butt, and he told him, you are not a gangster. You don't grow up from that stock. You don't act like these. We are not like that. This household is not like that, and you're not going to be like that. And don't bring that to this house. Don't bring it here. What are you doing talking garbage to these folks that you don't even know, you know? And these are, I was in a situation like that with one of my nephews. Sorry, and I love my nephew. You probably don't think so until you get my age, But I love him. I love him. How could I not, he's got my mom's face, my brother's face, I get happy just being in the same room with them. That's a good thing for my life, Especially I ain't got no kids, It's good to see the name going somewhere, So God bless you all. Love you all dearly. And as far as that, men, handle your business, because these homosexuals will have your children doing any old thing. God bless you all.